Now, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I did an AMA on the Football Manager Reddit yesterday, and I actually really enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun. I don't know if some of you guys were involved in it. We're making a YouTube video out of it, so if you happen to miss it, don't feel bad. I'm going to be answering all of your Football Manager questions. I did that on purpose. I didn't want to do like, oh, I answered all of your tough Football Manager questions, but then have it just be my community, because I know there's a lot of people that play Football Manager that aren't here. And so I wanted to make sure that I stepped out of maybe the safe space of my community to do it. Messy game, even changing players. Oh, it's absolutely a messy game, dude. Is the game any good? I think it will be. I hope it will be, dude. I feel like it can be. It's super different. It's laggy. It's got a million bugs and there are pages that are unfinished in it. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, crazy good game, you know? Am I a 26 enjoyer? The honest truth is I have had a pretty good time playing the game, but it's also not a good game right now. I'm just easy to please, dude. I've had a good time playing it, but it's not a good game. But right now, hopefully it will be eventually, or maybe maybe FM30 is going to be the one. How much do you think the day one patch will fix? I mean, some. I think the day one patch will mostly be focused on bugs. So they'll probably just hammer out as many bugs as they can going into the full launch. And then they'll start trying to fix some of the screens that aren't ready in the UI. Dr. Benji said it perfectly. They tried to appeal to all the different platforms too much. Yeah, I think they clearly want to appeal to controller things. Yeah, the one dude in the AMA that was saying I was being paid by SI is... So many people say that, dude. I have no idea where that idea comes from. As far as I'm aware, I have never heard of, outside of paid activations, you know, like a paid sponsorship where you go, hey, try this game, we'll pay you to try this game, whatever. I have never heard of any arrangement where a content creator, a YouTuber, a streamer is on the payroll of a game just specifically to not talk bad about that game, man. Yeah, no, I'm not getting paid by SI. But I mean, if you believe I'm getting paid by SI, me saying, no, I'm not getting paid by SI is not going to change your mind at all. I don't know, man. Like, people seem to be of the opinion that because SI gives me the alpha, right, a couple days early, that I should then bend over backwards and just do whatever SI wants me to do in order to get that couple of days of alpha access, which is really just not how that works at all. Am I getting paid by APAC? Now we're getting somewhere. Yes, I am, actually. Now, I mean, I understand because, you know, a lot of the modern internet is not what it appears to be, right? People are paid for their opinions on this particular thing. It's AI. Which part of the game is most bespoke? No, sorry. The funniest part about this game in particular is because this is the type of game I expected them to release last year that I would sit there and make excuses for, saying, oh, at least they moved to Unity and this game has a ton of potential or whatever. But then they waited another year and released the same game that I expected them to release last year. All the while, Miles was doing interviews talking about how they'd never release a game in an unfinished state. This game's unfinished. But if you're going to release a game that's rough around the edges, to say the least, you know what I'm saying? Don't go do all these interviews talking about how, you know, well, I'd never do that. I value people's money too much. You know what I'm saying? We'd never release a game if it wasn't up to our standard. So this is up to your standard? Question mark? Nah, dude, I still am having fun playing it. I am still having fun playing the game. I'm just saying. Every FM's unfinished? Yeah. I mean, to be fair, sometimes I think the community meltdowns over the bugs in FM are unwarranted. I think the extent of the meltdown is not warranted, but it is justifiable to say that there are unfinished pages in the game. Is it actually good? Okay, I have two answers to that question. I don't think it's a very well-made game. I think that they've had to do here's the full theory. They've had to do so much work to get all of this into Unity that they weren't able to spend as much time actually making it a great game as they probably wanted to spend. The match engine's great. Match engine's freaking awesome. I think it's going to take 2 to 3 years in Unity for us to be like, wow, this is a great game. You know, the way yearly sports games usually go is big step, refinement, refinement, big step, refinement, refinement. This is big step year. More bugs, not refined. They started 4 years ago. Yeah, that's probably the dumbest thing about all of this is that they picked the time to maybe they didn't. Maybe Sega went, you have to switch to Unity now. But the way they presented it was that SI picked the time to switch to Unity. I think, honestly, if you want to track this all the way back, the single biggest mistake SI made was how unbelievably wrong they were in assuming that they were ready to switch in 25. Like, they just assumed that they were ready to switch to Unity in 25, and they really shouldn't have switched for 2 more years. They should have been working on it in the background for a couple more years and then switched over. It would have been a lot smoother. There's 7,631 bugs on the tracker. Mamma mia, papa mia. Goodness. Is it really that bad? No. I don't think it's that bad. We're just talking about the bad parts of it. I don't think it's that bad. I'm almost afraid to say I'm having fun playing the save. I didn't say it wasn't bad. We just spent 10 minutes talking about the fact that it's bad. I'm just saying, for whatever reason, maybe I'm an idiot, maybe I got lobotomized in my sleep, I have enjoyed playing this save so far. I have. I have enjoyed playing this save so far. Shoot me. End me now. Take me out back. Bad drugs are still drugs. That is so true. That is so true. It's a breath of fresh air. Yeah, I guess that's it. I agree with Axel on YouTube. So it's the tactics in the match day. I hate the tactics screen, but the tactical challenge is awesome. And the actual match day experience is fantastic. It really is. Match day has no stats to make actual changes. Bro, when you're in the match, there's only one way to look at the player cards. They need to add, I mean, sure they're going to, eventually. They need to add ways, right? They need to add ways to look at the player cards. They need to add more information during the matches. Yeah, somebody asked about the heat map. Bro, removing the heat, I love the heat map. The heat map and match momentum are great, but I do kind of understand why they would want to get rid of that. Not necessarily why they would want to get rid of it, but why they wouldn't make it as obvious, because instead of a heat map, you literally, in my opinion, maybe the single best addition to the game, you get that little screen at the bottom that shows you the 2D of the entire match. That's awesome. I know match momentum's there. I wasn't saying it wasn't there. I was just saying that and the heat map were kind of how I made decisions before. But that little 2D thing during the match is an amazing addition and allows you to like feel the everything. Not having to constantly click continue is a huge gift. Wait. Oh, the spacebar does work now. Was that part of the patch? Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to hold them accountable for the fact that it's not a very well-made game right now. But also, I'm having fun playing it. In spite of I am having fun playing the game in spite of itself. Completely in spite of itself. But if you're one of those people like, well, I want to wait for the full release to see if they patch some bugs before I buy it, or you refunded it because you wanted to wait to the full release, or you just refunded it and you're never going to play Football Manager again, I would, yeah, fair. Why are you playing this on console? Whoa. Isn't that just SI's dream, dude? Oh, I'm playing on console, actually. I just got a text. Apparently, they did a summary of my Reddit thread, and that's getting a lot of reaction. So let's see for highlights from Zealand's AMA. So he basically, what he did here is just pull out all of my responses from the Reddit thread itself, and apparently it's getting a lot of reaction. So you guys want to, let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on. We can read and react to this real quick. We'll do it live, chat. Does that sound like something that's fun? I'll keep this going in the background. I'll keep this simulating in the background. Okay, so this is the guy that did that. My biggest takeaway is Zealand is his actual name. I assumed it was a creator name. That's fair. Yeah. Now that surprises a lot of people that Zealand is my actual name. I get people are mad, but calling Zealand a shill when he's been in a humongous public feud with FMSI. Okay, I thought this was going to be negative based off the message that I got. I appreciate that it's not. That's very kind. That's the biggest reaction is that my name is Zealand, man. Williams, thank you for the prime, dude. Granddad, thank you so much for the Prime. Maybe you have a link? Yeah, I mean, there's the whole AMA, and then this is, sure, I'll post a link. I'll post a link for both chats if you want to open another tab or whatever. That's the link to all of my answers in the Reddit AMA. We are making a YouTube video out of it, so. It drives me mad when anyone has a go at a content creator for being positive, especially the shill accusations, when it's been long proven that the way to make money is to foam at the mouth screaming about how awful everything is. That is true. Zealand would have doubled his net worth in the last few weeks. We made a new 15-minute video every day repeating the same issues and yelling at the camera. That's what the grifters do because it brings in the big money. Even more if you run a bonus grift like starting a donation pot to fund a rival game that never happens. Okay, that's so scummy though. You gotta give him credit. I just answered questions. I want to say thank you. This is so nice, dude. This whole thing is so nice. I just want to say your voice is exceptional. A gift from the gods. Wow, that's one of the best compliments I've ever gotten. Missouri Twin, thank you. Your voice is a gift from the gods. These are all so nice. I expected like pure Reddit vitriol. I mean, yeah, that's fair. I'm bummed the removal of stats and stuff. I mean, the lower part of this is probably a war zone. Paid bot straight from Mombot? Bro, for real though. For real. Love Zealand and really like his answers. Absurd that some people think he's an SI shill. The one point I disagree with is that he would have no financial incentive to call the game good when it isn't. A comparatively large creator calling the game bad would likely lead to fewer FM players and fewer viewers of FM videos and less money for creators. All that goes the opposite way if they praise the game. I mean, it's kind of a meta argument, but a ton of people watch EAFC content, but they don't actively play the game or enjoy it. Shag Lelujo, this man has no shame. Look, I figured shagging Lelujo was my only option in that thruple of choices. I don't want to marry him, then I'd have to deal with him for longer, you know? I'm not paying $50 for potential, and that's completely fair. Boom, 100%, nailed it right there. I don't know if this is the same guy that asked this question. I said I didn't recommend the game. I gave the alpha a 9 out of 10 after playing for 90 minutes because I love the potential of it. This is a massive cop-out, especially when saying in the next sentence, I don't make a final judgment until the game is released. Giving an alpha a 9 out of 10 is a judgment. And if you really think that you saying that doesn't influence your massive audience and their purchasing decision, Jesus Christ, that's naive. I don't think calling him a shill or that weird last question are justified, but I don't think that answer is Zealand really being honest with us or himself. It was a 9 out of 10 alpha. I liked the question about how I peel a banana. I thought that was really nice. What's the Shannon question about? That's his last name. Well, that was not nearly as bad as I thought. Wow. The Reddit's being way nicer to me than I expected them to be. Thank you to John for compiling those answers as well. So what's happening there, just to actually answer that, is he's conflating my rating of the beta with me giving a final opinion on whether the game is good or not, or whether you should buy it or not. The me rating the beta is not a final opinion on whether the game is good. I think if you ever try to pass a final opinion on whether a game is good or not during an alpha, that's obviously just a terrible idea. Now, I mean, a couple of the questions I answered were from people that really genuinely disliked me, but I like answering those questions the most sometimes because they're really not expecting you to answer them. And that's one of my favorite parts of it, is they're so not expecting you to answer them that when you do answer, they sometimes don't know what to do. Why give it a rating at all then? It was part of the YouTube video. I play the alpha, and do I think the alpha's good? If you watch the video, I go, yeah, there's a lot of bugs, but you can feel the potential of it. You can feel that, you know, what this game could be. And I'm really excited for it. And I gave it a 9 out of 10. And then the first day of the beta, I played 5 hours and went, yeah, this is kind of a 5 or a 6 out of 10 because there's still a lot of issues with it. It still doesn't run very well. You know, alpha to beta update. Yeah, I am not a hard guy to please. I never have been. Most TV shows I watch, I go, it's pretty good, even if it's not. I am not a hard guy to please, right? I really am not when it comes to media and stuff. But that has always existed for me in everything. But yeah, I mean, the general response when people were watching the alpha stuff was that they were kind of in the same ballpark I was. And then once everybody got their hands on it and started playing it, and you start playing the game for hours, you start finding more and more screens that you're like, wait a second, I don't like this very much. I think it wasn't clear whether the rating was for the game or whether it was the state, or its state for an alpha was the latter, as I understand it. I mean, that's fair, but I don't think anybody with enough, like, one of the guys in the questions called me condescending. I don't want to be condescending, and what I was about to say would probably come off as condescending. But what I mean is, if you are providing a rating while playing an alpha version for a limited amount of time, I don't think anybody should take that or interpret that as a final rating for the game itself. I'll obviously be very clear to be 150% sure about it.